The stars over Earth's orbit glittered like scattered diamonds. From up here, the planet looked calm, quiet, and ordinary. Yet beneath the surface of this calm in massive orbital shipyards, humans were quietly working on machines that would shake the galaxy. The United Galactic Council, made up of dozens of alien species, considered humans harmless. They were cute, curious, and slow to develop advanced technology compared to the great civilizations that had spanned the stars for thousands of years. Humans had long been observed as a curiosity, like children learning to build small gadgets. The Council expected nothing from them that could disrupt the balance of power in the galaxy. In reality, humans were very different from what the Council imagined. In orbit around Earth, the largest human shipyard gleamed in the sunlight. It stretched for hundreds of kilometers, a network of docking arms, fabrication rings, and observation towers. Inside, thousands of human engineers, scientists, and robotic assistants moved with purpose. Dr. Lena Kaur, one of the lead engineers, leaned over a holographic display showing a new design. The ship in question was unlike anything ever seen in the galaxy. Its hull was sleek, almost liquid in shape, capable of folding space in ways that no alien race had ever managed. "Adjust the energy conduits," Lena said calmly to her assistant, a small robot named Tico. "We need to make sure the graviton field remains stable during the fold." Tico beeped and moved its mechanical arms. "Conduits adjusted, Dr. Carr. Field stable at 99.7%. Lena smiled. "Close enough. Let's run the simulation." As the holographic ship floated in front of her, energy lines pulsed along its body, bending space around it. To a casual observer, it looked like a shimmering jewel, but to Lena and her team, it represented decades of iterative engineering, problem-solving, and human curiosity. Far across the galaxy, in the Grand Chamber of the United Galactic Council, the news was arriving slowly but steadily. Reports of unusual energy readings from Earth had reached the Council's Science Division. Initially, it was dismissed as a sensor error. Humans had tinkered with small fusion engines before, but nothing dangerous, nothing revolutionary. Then came the anomalies. Ships that were moving faster than previously thought possible. Energy emissions that seemed to defy known physics. And most troubling of all, designs appearing out of nowhere with no record of development in any galactic archives. Council members whispered in alarm. "Humans aren't supposed to engineer ships like that," one said, his voice trembling. "They are supposed to be slow, simple, harmless." Another council member, a tall crystalline being named Zorath, shook his multifaceted head. "If these reports are true, if humans are advancing this fast, we underestimated them." Back on Earth's orbit, Lena's team finished running the simulation. The ship folded space perfectly. She leaned back in her chair and let out a small laugh. "Perfect," she said. "Tico, send the data to the testing bay. We'll run a small-scale flight tomorrow." The simplicity with which humans treated such an extraordinary achievement was exactly what unnerved the aliens. To humans, it was just another challenge to solve. To the Council, it was an existential puzzle. A species thought weak, thought slow, now mastering technologies that could rival entire fleets. Meanwhile, the alien scientists observing Earth's shipyards reported back in confusion and awe. Sensors picked up the movement of human engineers, the smooth operation of robotic assistants, and the sheer speed of iteration. Humans were working day and night, not out of obligation but out of curiosity. On one observation platform, the alien scientist Cretin whispered to a colleague, They don't even seem aware of the danger. They experiment freely. No secrecy, no fear, no limit. How can a species like this exist without destroying themselves?" "They are human," the colleague replied simply. "They are nothing like us." Back on the shipyard floor, Lena moved to another workstation, checking the readings from the propulsion tests they had run last week. She noticed a slight fluctuation in the graviton field during high-speed maneuvers. Normally this would have caused panic, but Lena simply tilted her head, smiled, and adjusted a few parameters. "Better," she said aloud. "Let's see if we can push the efficiency a little more. I want to see how far this design can go before it hits its limits." Humans never saw obstacles as walls. They saw puzzles. They saw challenges waiting to be solved. It was this mindset, so different from any alien civilization, that would soon terrify the Council. In orbit, the human testing bay hummed with activity. Small prototypes were running trial flights, bending space, twisting gravity, and returning safely. Lena and her team noted every minor adjustment, making calculations, noting patterns, and improving the designs. It was a quiet revolution. No fanfare, no announcement. Just humans doing what humans did best, thinking, creating, and adapting. Elsewhere in the galaxy, panic slowly built. The Galactic Council convened emergency sessions, but no one had a clear plan. How do you deal with a species that doesn't play by the rules? That doesn't follow the usual trajectory of technological growth? Zorath addressed the chamber. We must not underestimate them. If humans continue at this pace, they could surpass us all in decades. Another voice, trembling with fear, added, Decades? That's too soon. They should not have reached this point already. Something must be contained. The council debated in tense whispers, unaware that humans were completely oblivious to their panic. For humans, it was simply another day in orbit. Another day of solving problems and building better ships. As night fell over the Earth below, lights twinkling in cities across continents, Lena stood on a balcony of the orbital station, looking out at the planet. Tico floated beside her. Do you think they'll like the new design? Lena asked, half joking. The one that folds space? Tico beeped. Unknown. Alien response cannot be predicted. Probability of approval 52.7%. Lena laughed. Close enough. The calm of human ingenuity contrasted sharply with the growing panic in alien governments. It was a quiet storm, one that no one saw coming. The humans were not trying to dominate. They were not trying to alarm anyone. They were simply being human, and that, as the Council would soon learn, was the most unpredictable and most powerful force in the galaxy. In the quiet corners of the Council chambers, secret messages were sent to top scientists and military strategists. Everyone agreed on one thing. Humans were no longer a species to be underestimated. Their progress, their creativity, their very mindset was rewriting the rules of galactic technology. Meanwhile, on Earth's orbit, Lena and her team continued to work. Ships folded space, energy flowed perfectly, and humanity's quiet revolution continued, completely unaware of the whispers of panic spreading across the stars. The Council did not yet realize it, but a new era was beginning. One where humans would no longer be considered harmless, where their ingenuity would challenge centuries of alien assumptions, and where their creativity would become a beacon and a threat to the galaxy. The news of Earth's unexpected technological advancements spread quickly across the galaxy. Reports of human ships folding space, of energy emissions that defied known physics, and of designs that no species had ever achieved reached the ears of the United Galactic Council. Anxiety had replaced curiosity. Council members debated what to do. Some argued for observation only, while others insisted that the humans must be confronted directly. Finally, it was decided a delegation would visit Earth, not as conquerors, but as observers to witness firsthand what humans were capable of. The delegation arrived quietly, slipping past Earth's orbital defenses with ease. At first, humans did not notice. Their focus was entirely on their work. Ships floated in testing bays, robots hummed as they adjusted energy conduits, and engineers moved quickly between workstations. To humans, it was just another day of problem-solving. The alien delegation, however, was not expecting what they saw. The leader of the Council observers was Ambassador Vectra, a tall insect-like being with reflective, multifaceted eyes. Beside him floated Cretin, the crystalline scientist who had first reported anomalies. Behind them were military and diplomatic advisors, all watching in silence. What is that? Vectra whispered, his voice shaking slightly. His many limbs twitched as he gestured toward a ship in the testing bay. The ship was unlike any the Council had ever seen. Its hull shimmered as if liquid, bending light around it in subtle waves. Energy fields rippled along its surface, distorting space in a controlled, deliberate manner. It hovered in the bay without visible engines, without exhaust, without vibration. Cretin's crystalline form reflected the ship's glow. I don't understand. This should be impossible. No species should have this level of technology. Humans built this? As if sensing the attention, a human engineer stepped forward. Dr. Lena Kaur, calm and smiling, approached the observation window. She had long learned to speak clearly to others, even if those others had 3 eyes, wings, or crystalline bodies. Hello. Lena said simply. I'm Dr. Lena Core. Are you here to observe our test? Vectra froze. Most aliens would have assumed this human was threatening or at least strange. But Lena's confidence, her calm tone, disarmed them. There was no arrogance, no fear, just curiosity. Yes, Vectra said slowly. We have come to see your designs. Of course, Lena said. We're testing a new propulsion system. Would you like to watch? The council delegation exchanged nervous glances. To them it seemed reckless, humans allowing unknown species to watch their most advanced technology. But Lena simply smiled and motioned for them to follow. Inside the testing bay, the ship floated, its energy fields pulsing softly. Lena explained, using simple terms, how it worked. We've combined gravitational manipulation with a new energy conduit design. It allows the ship to fold space in short bursts, reducing travel time across vast distances. We're still testing efficiency and stability. Cretan's voice cracked as he muttered, They built this without even attempting secrecy, without containment protocols. How? Lena laughed lightly. We don't hide things for the sake of hiding. We share, we test, we improve. That's how we make progress. Vectra's multiple eyes blinked rapidly. This is beyond anything the council predicted. Humans were supposed to be slow, harmless, primitive, and yet, he trailed off. The humans didn't notice the panic spreading through the delegation. They focused on the demonstration. Lena activated the ship, and the observers saw it fold space for the first time. The bay itself seemed to stretch and twist as the ship vanished and reappeared several meters away. What just happened? Vectra whispered, nearly falling backward. It bent space, controlled, perfectly. How? It's just physics, Lena said simply, almost as if she were explaining how water flowed. We've learned the rules and we're experimenting within them. Nothing magical. Cretan's crystalline structure glimmered with tension. This species is unpredictable, dangerous. They could surpass us all before we even understand them. While the council delegation struggled to comprehend, the humans moved on to the next test. Smaller ships designed for exploration performed intricate maneuvers through artificial gravitational fields. Each movement was precise, efficient, and elegant. What are they thinking? One advisor hissed to another. They do not act like a species preparing for war. They act like children playing with a puzzle, and yet they have mastered a puzzle we could not solve in centuries. Vectra felt a mixture of fear and awe. I cannot believe this is possible. How did they learn so fast? How did they evolve technology without the centuries of guidance other civilizations had? Lena noticed their confusion but said nothing. To her, it was just another demonstration. She explained the process in simple words. We observe, we experiment, we fail, we fix, we try again. That's how learning works. It was this approach that terrified the council the most. Unlike alien civilizations, which relied on strict hierarchies, protocols, and accumulated archives, humans relied on intuition, collaboration, and creativity. They could improvise solutions on the spot, adapt to unexpected conditions, and turn failure into progress. The delegation moved to another part of the shipyard, where humans were constructing a new prototype from scratch. Lena introduced the engineers working there. Each one had a specific role, but everyone contributed ideas freely. Robots moved between stations, assisting wherever needed. This is incredible, Cretan whispered, recording data in silence. They do not follow the usual procedures. They cooperate differently. They invent differently. It is impossible to predict. Meanwhile, Lena showed them a holographic model of the next-generation ship. This design will be capable of long-range exploration with minimal energy consumption. We're testing new alloys and energy conduits. It's still early, but the simulations look promising. Vectra's limbs trembled slightly. They are already planning systems that will make other species obsolete. Lena smiled politely. We're just trying to understand the universe better. That's all. The delegation left the shipyard in stunned silence. On their transport, they discussed what they had seen. Words like unpredictable, dangerous, and beyond comprehension filled the chamber. One advisor, trembling, muttered, They are not like us. They do not fear. They do not hesitate. They simply do, and they achieve. Vectra's multiple eyes glimmered with worry. We must report this to the council immediately. The humans. They cannot continue like this unchecked. Cretan shook his crystalline form. Unchecked? They are already moving faster than us. We underestimated them. That was our mistake. And now, he paused. I fear it may be too late to control. Back on Earth's orbit, Lena and her team continued working. They had no idea of the panic their achievements had caused. For them, it was another day of problem-solving, experimenting, and creating. The council delegation returned to their ship, still debating. Vectra realized something important. Humans did not conform to expectations. They did not follow the patterns of technological growth that had guided every other species for millennia. Humans were unpredictable, adaptive, and remarkably clever. And worst of all, they were still entirely ethical, entirely curious, and entirely cooperative. There was no arrogance, no fear, no greed, just the joy of discovery. The delegation agreed on one thing. They had to observe humans carefully. They had to monitor their growth, their experiments, their progress. But even in agreement, there was fear, because humans could not be predicted, could not be controlled, and could not be understood easily. As the human engineers celebrated a small victory, the ship successfully completing another test run, Lena looked out at the stars and whispered to Tico, "They'll be amazed when we start the next design." Tico's mechanical arms twitched. Unknown response. Probability of astonishment 97.4%. Lena laughed. Close enough. The Galactic Council could not ignore humans any longer. Their unexpected technology, their ingenuity, and their unpredictable methods had created anxiety that spread across every member species. But instead of confronting Earth with threats or sanctions, the Council decided on a different approach. They would test humans, not in anger. Not in war, but in a challenge designed to measure human skill, creativity, and adaptability. If humans could navigate a dangerous and mysterious region of space, perhaps their ingenuity could be quantified or contained. The location was a nebula far beyond known trade routes. The Council called it the Tempest Nebula. Clouds of charged particles swirled in violent storms. Magnetic anomalies twisted sensors, and gravity wells threatened to trap unprepared ships. Alien fleets had avoided the area for centuries. Even the most advanced species had never fully mapped it. A message arrived at Earth, a formal invitation to participate in the Council's exploration contest. Humans were to send ships into the Tempest Nebula and chart its pathways. Their performance would be observed, evaluated, and compared to the galaxy's best navigators. Humans read the message with quiet curiosity. No one panicked. No one prepared for battle. They saw it as a problem to solve, a puzzle to explore, and an opportunity to learn. Dr. Lena Kaur gathered her team. "We've been given a challenge," she said. "The nebula is unpredictable, dangerous, and uncharted. But it's just another problem. Let's figure it out." Her engineers nodded. Humans thrived on challenges. They were not burdened by fear or arrogance. They were fueled by curiosity. The fleet prepared quietly. Ships of all sizes designed with modular systems, new energy conduits, and fold space technology moved into position. Lena's flagship, the Aurora, was equipped with sensors, shields, and adaptive navigation systems. But the most important feature was human ingenuity itself, the ability to think creatively in ways no algorithm or protocol could predict. The journey to the nebula was uneventful. Humans used it to train, test systems, and brainstorm new solutions. But as they approached the Tempest Nebula, the first real challenge emerged. The nebula was alive with energy. Lightning-like storms crackled across ion clouds. Gravity shifted unpredictably, dragging some ships toward dangerous pockets while propelling others outward. Sensors were unreliable. Communication signals twisted and bent. "Look at this," Lena said, pointing to the display. "Magnetic anomalies are disrupting our sensors. Standard protocols won't work. We'll need a new approach." Her team quickly adapted. Using principles from fluid dynamics and gravitational theory, they calculated new paths through the shifting energy fields. Tico, her robotic assistant, projected real-time simulations. "Probability of safe passage, 86%, it announced. Lena raised an eyebrow. "Not perfect, but close enough." "Let's go." The fleet moved forward. As they entered the first storm, many alien observers watching remotely gasped. The nebula's energy fields tore through sensor arrays and disabled propulsion in test runs. Any miscalculation could trap a ship in the magnetic whirlpools forever. But humans adapted instantly. They modified their energy fields to shield against the disturbances, shifted propulsion vectors mid-flight, and used fold space technology to bypass particularly dangerous sections. Where other species would have relied on brute force shielding or pre-planned routes, humans improvised in real time. Adjust thrusters by 0.7 degrees to the left, Lena called. No, wait, 0.5 degrees. Now fold space here to avoid the gravity well. Ships darted through the nebula like living creatures, bending, twisting, and weaving around invisible hazards. No ship was lost. No mistake was fatal. The humans moved as one, coordinating instinctively, thinking creatively, and trusting their experience and intuition. From afar, the Council watched in shock. Alien fleets had failed in simulations that this human team had passed in hours. Their adaptability, their problem-solving, and their willingness to learn from every error were unmatched. Cretin, the crystalline scientist, muttered to an aide, They are beyond expectation. Even if they had no knowledge, their improvisation is flawless. How? Vectra's eyes shimmered with disbelief. This is not natural. Humans do not follow the rules of development we understand. They improvise, adapt, and overcome. This cannot continue unchecked. Meanwhile, Lena's team reached the heart of the nebula. A massive magnetic storm, larger than any they had encountered, swirled ahead. The anomaly was too vast for fold space jumps to be fully effective. Sensors flickered, energy conduits strained. Everyone listen, Lena said, her voice calm but firm. We don't panic. We analyze, we adapt. Split the fleet. Half take the northern path, half take the southern. Share data in real time. Adjust shields and propulsion according to energy readings. Let's do this one step at a time. The human ships moved in perfect coordination. Each vessel adapted to micro-anomalies, sharing data across the fleet instantly. A ship encountering an unexpected gravitational spike adjusted its shields and rerouted power to propulsion while sending instructions to others. For the aliens watching, it was almost unbelievable. They are thinking faster than our most advanced computers, one observer whispered. And they are teaching each other while doing it. Even the robotic assistants on human ships displayed incredible adaptability. Tico and other units ran calculations, projected simulations, and suggested optimal maneuvers. But humans made the final decisions. Creativity, intuition, and ethical judgment were uniquely human strengths. Hours passed, and the fleet emerged from the nebula largely intact. Ships that other species would have lost to gravity traps, energy storms, or sensor failures returned safely. Not a single human was harmed. Every test had been met with improvisation, adaptation, and learning. The aliens watching remotely were silent. Shock, awe, and fear intermingled in their voices. Vectra's limbs trembled. They did it. They mapped the nebula. They survived where no one could survive. Cretin's crystalline structure pulsed. It is not just their technology. It is their approach. They think differently. They are unpredictable, dangerous. Back on the human side, Lena and her team celebrated quietly. We did it, she said, smiling at her engineers. The nebula is mapped. Systems are intact. And we learned a lot. One of her assistants laughed. We should invite the council to a demonstration. They could use some tips. Lena shook her head, smiling. No, they'll learn soon enough. We're just humans solving a problem. That's all. The success in the Tempest Nebula sent waves across the galaxy. Reports of human ingenuity spread faster than any council announcement could contain. Species that had never respected humans before now whispered with a mix of fear and admiration. The council, for all its power and history, realized that humans could not be predicted, could not be controlled, and could not be underestimated. And yet humans themselves remained unaware of the stir they had caused. For humans, the mission had been simple. Solve the problem, learn from experience, and help each other succeed. They did not seek recognition, they did not seek dominance, and they did not seek to alarm anyone. Their only goal was to explore, understand, and improve. And in doing so, they had done something far more remarkable. They had shown the galaxy that human ingenuity was a force unlike any other. A force built on creativity, cooperation, and the ability to adapt in ways no one else could match. Vectra and Cretin, reporting to the council, could only summarize in disbelief. Humans are not just advancing. They are inventing new paths we cannot predict. They think differently, act differently, and succeed differently. They are something else entirely. Meanwhile, Lena looked out at the nebula from the bridge of the Aurora. Lightning danced across clouds of charged particles. Gravity wells twisted in unpredictable ways, and stars shone faintly behind the swirling chaos. She whispered to Tico. "We're just getting started." Tico's mechanical arms twitched. Unknown response. Probability of astonishment from other species, 99.1%. Lena laughed softly. Close enough. The success of humanity in the Tempest Nebula sent shockwaves across the galaxy. Reports streamed into the Galactic Council chambers, filling every corner with a mixture of awe and fear. Humans had done what no species had dared attempt. They had survived a storm that could have destroyed entire fleets. They had mapped an uncharted nebula with ingenuity, creativity, and teamwork. The Council, however, did not celebrate. They panicked. "Do you understand what they have done?" Ambassador Vectra shouted, pacing the chamber. His many limbs gestured wildly, reflecting the fear in his multifaceted eyes. "They are not following our rules. They are unpredictable. They are humans." Cretan, the crystalline scientist, pulsed in agreement. "This is not just technology. This is a species that thinks differently. They improvise solutions in real time. They adapt to any situation. They cannot be contained by protocols, restrictions, or predictions. We underestimated them." Other council members murmured nervously. Many had been taught for centuries that humans were harmless, slow, and simple. Yet here they were, completing tasks that no alien fleet could manage, solving problems that the galaxy had avoided for generations. One elder counselor, a winged being with translucent feathers, spoke carefully. "We must consider our options. Do we restrict human expansion? Monitor them secretly? Invite them into a controlled research program? How do we manage a species that is advancing faster than our predictions?" Vectra shook his head. "They cannot be managed. They do not play by our rules. They do not fear authority. They do not follow our hierarchies, and yet they succeed." While the Council debated in panic, humans on Earth's orbit were entirely unaware of the growing tension. They were preparing their next project, a fleet of modular exploration vessels capable of fast deployment, high adaptability, and long-term research missions. Dr. Lena Kaur inspected the blueprints for the new ships. "We'll need adaptive shielding, improved sensors, and faster fold space modules," she said. "The Nebula mission taught us a lot. Let's apply that knowledge." One engineer frowned at the design. "It looks complicated. Are we sure we can build it in time?" Lena smiled. "We've built ships we were told were impossible before. We can do it again." The humans moved forward with quiet determination. No one panicked. No one debated politics. They simply built, learned, and prepared. Meanwhile, the Council decided on a monitoring plan. A fleet of observers would quietly track human activity, gather intelligence, and report on progress. But even this cautious approach proved inadequate. Humans' ingenuity and unpredictability made surveillance nearly impossible. They were constantly iterating, experimenting, and adapting faster than the observers could record. Vectra realized a troubling truth. Even if we monitor them closely, we cannot predict what they will do next. We cannot stop their progress without engaging them directly, and engagement may provoke responses we cannot anticipate. Cretan's crystalline form shimmered in worry. "They are dangerous, not because they seek conflict, but because they think differently. They will change the rules of technology, society, and strategy simply by being themselves." Back on the human side, Lena's team prepared the fleet for the next mission, a combined research and exploration project into nearby star systems. They were creating vessels not for conquest, but for collaboration. The modular design allowed humans to adapt ships for different environments, share resources quickly, and respond to unforeseen challenges in real time. "This is not just about building ships," Lena explained. "It's about creating a system that allows us to learn faster than we ever could alone. The ships are tools, but we are the real advantage." Tico, her robotic assistant, projected a holographic model of the fleet. Efficiency rate projected 97.8%. Probability of unexpected events manageable, 94.3%. Lena nodded. "Close enough. Let's get started." The fleet launched quietly with no fanfare and began mapping new star systems. Their methods were innovative. Ships communicated in real time, sharing sensor data, gravitational readings, and energy anomalies. They adapted to cosmic storms, asteroid belts, and magnetic distortions with flexibility no alien protocol could match. As news of human progress spread, panic in the Council deepened. Members realized that humans were not just advancing, they were setting new standards. Entire civilizations that prided themselves on centuries of accumulated knowledge watched in disbelief as humans solved problems in days that would have taken alien fleets decades. Ambassador Vectra met with other Council leaders in a private session. We cannot contain them. We cannot predict them. And if we continue to underestimate them, the galaxy itself may shift in ways we cannot control. A feathered elder counselor nodded. Perhaps we should attempt collaboration. Invite them to share their knowledge under our guidance. Vectra shook his head. We have already seen their approach. They do not seek guidance. They learn through exploration, experimentation, and cooperation among themselves. Any attempt to control them will fail. They will lead whether we like it or not. Meanwhile, humans continued their work. They built new starships, tested experimental technologies, and refined energy systems. They worked with robotic assistants, human engineers, and mathematicians. The focus was always the same: solve problems, learn, and improve. Lena observed her fleet as it traveled through uncharted space. The Council may be panicking, she said to Tico, but we are just exploring. We are just learning. That's all humans do. Tico responded. Observation confirmed. Probability of Council panic increasing 99.2%. Lena laughed. Close enough. The humans reached a small system filled with asteroid clusters and gravitational anomalies. Where alien fleets would have hesitated, humans adapted. Using fold space jumps, energy shields, and predictive navigation algorithms, they charted the system quickly and efficiently. They also demonstrated cooperation in a way the galaxy had rarely seen. Ships shared power, redistributed resources, and adjusted course for one another's safety. Every failure was a lesson. Every success was a shared victory. Alien observers watching from a distance were stunned. They do not compete for glory, Cretan muttered. They cooperate. They improvise. And they succeed. All at the same time. Back in the Council chambers, the debate grew frantic. We cannot continue like this, one member said. They will surpass us. They will outthink us. They will lead whether we want them to or not. Vectra's voice was grim. The humans are not acting aggressively, but they are advancing faster than we ever expected, and the galaxy is starting to take notice. If we do not adjust, humans will set the pace for the next century. The Council began to realize an uncomfortable truth. Humans were not a threat because they were cruel, violent, or selfish. They were a threat because they were intelligent, adaptable, and cooperative in ways that could not be controlled. They did not cheat. They did not exploit. They simply thought differently, and that was enough to disrupt the balance of power in the galaxy. Back on Earth's orbit, Lena and her team returned from the mission, bringing new data, maps, and insights. The humans celebrated quietly. They were proud of their work, but they were unaware of the panic spreading across the galaxy. For them, the Nebula mission and star system exploration were just another step in the endless journey of learning. The galaxy may be panicking, Lena said with a smile, but we are just humans. We learn, we adapt, and we build. That's all. Tico projected a final report. Observation confirmed. Efficiency of fleet in new system 98.7%. Probability of unexpected Council actions high. Humans unaffected. Lena laughed softly. Close enough. The galaxy had changed. No species had ever faced a challenge quite like humanity. In just a few years, humans had moved from curiosity to mastery, building ships that bent space, adapted to unpredictable hazards, and navigated regions even the most experienced alien fleets avoided. Every mission, every experiment, and every success only amplified their reputation. The Galactic Council, once confident in its control, was now unsettled. Humans had not only survived the Tempest Nebula, they had mapped it. They had explored uncharted star systems and demonstrated ingenuity that no algorithm, archive, or fleet could match. And yet humans had never acted aggressively. They sought no conquest, no domination. They simply learned, explored, and shared their discoveries. It was time for a summit. The Council, reluctantly, extended a formal invitation to the humans, a meeting on a neutral planet, a place of negotiation, observation, and collaboration. Dr. Lena Kaur received the message aboard the Aurora, the flagship of humanity's exploratory fleet. She gathered her team and read the message aloud. The Galactic Council requests your presence at the Summit of Stars. Representatives from all member species will attend. Your achievements will be discussed. Lena smiled, calm as ever. They want to see what we've done. That's fine. Let's go. We'll show them what humans can do, without arrogance, without threat. Her team prepared the ships for the journey. Modular vessels were ready for transport, exploration, or adaptation to any environment. Shields were tested, sensors calibrated, and fold space modules optimized. But the most important preparation was simple. Humans were ready to cooperate, to demonstrate their ingenuity, and to lead by example. When the fleet arrived at the neutral planet, council delegates were already gathered. Tall crystalline, winged, and insect-like species filled the chambers, their expressions a mix of awe, fear, and cautious curiosity. Humans descended in perfect formation, their ships sleek and adaptive, glowing softly with controlled energy fields. The council waited nervously. They had seen the humans succeed in dangerous regions of space, but they were unsure how these newcomers would behave when faced with the galaxy's greatest minds. Dr. Lena Kaur stepped forward, her team behind her. "Greetings," she said, her voice calm and confident. "We are humans from Earth. We have come to share what we have learned and to learn from you as well." The delegates were silent for a moment, surprised. This was not a species demanding recognition or threatening conquest. This was a species offering collaboration, speaking politely, and acting with humility. Vectra spoke first. You have surpassed our expectations. The Tempest Nebula, the uncharted systems. Your ingenuity, it is remarkable, but how do you do it?" Lena smiled. "We observe, we experiment, we fail, we learn, and we improve. We work together, share ideas, and think creatively. That's how humans solve problems." Cretan, the crystalline scientist, tilted in surprise. "It is simple, yet effective. And you do this without arrogance, without fear, without harming others?" "Yes," Lena said simply. "We solve problems to understand the universe, not to dominate it," the council murmured among themselves. They had never encountered a species like this. Human successes were astounding, but their approach was even more unsettling. They were powerful without weapons, influential without intimidation, and capable without aggression. Lena's team then demonstrated their latest innovation. Holographic projections filled the chamber, showing modular ships adapting to unforeseen challenges. Energy storms, asteroid belts, gravitational anomalies, and even theoretical phenomena that alien scientists had never encountered. Each adjustment was automatic, efficient, and safe. "We design ships that learn and adapt," Lena explained. "But the real strength is human collaboration. Every person contributes, every idea is considered, every failure is a lesson. That's what allows us to succeed where others fail." The delegates whispered among themselves. Some were impressed. Some were anxious. Many had never seen cooperation and adaptability combined in such a way. And all of them realized one thing. Humans could not be predicted, controlled, or easily compared to other species. The summit continued for hours. Humans shared discoveries, proposed joint exploration projects, and offered to collaborate on scientific studies. They did not demand power, resources, or special treatment. They offered solutions, guidance, and partnership. A winged counselor finally spoke. You are unlike any species we have encountered. Your technology is astonishing, but your approach is more astounding. You do not seek to dominate. You do not seek to control. You simply improve. And others follow," Lena nodded. "We hope to continue learning and sharing. That is how progress works for humans and for the galaxy." Even Vectra, once trembling with fear at humans' unpredictability, found himself quietly admiring them. They are a force that cannot be ignored. Yet they inspire rather than intimidate. They lead by example. The summit concluded with an unprecedented agreement. Humans would be invited into a cooperative research network. Alien civilizations would share knowledge freely, and humans would share their insights in return. No threats were made. No commands issued. Humans were acknowledged not through fear but through respect. As the humans departed, Lena looked out at the stars. "We've done more than survive," she said softly. "We've shown that intelligence, creativity, and cooperation are the strongest forces in the galaxy." Tico beeped in agreement. "Observation confirmed. Probability of alien respect, 99.8%. Lena laughed softly. "Close enough." Across the galaxy, word spread quickly. Humans were no longer a species to be underestimated. They were innovators, collaborators, and problem solvers whose approach would shape interstellar exploration for decades to come. The Council had learned an important lesson. Humans were not dangerous because they sought conflict, but because they thought differently, acted creatively, and solved problems with cooperation. Their strength lay not in fleets or weapons, but in their minds, their curiosity, and their ability to work together. And humanity had proven it, not with threats, not with force, but with ingenuity, courage, and a willingness to share knowledge. Back on Earth's orbit, Lena and her team returned to their shipyard. New projects awaited, new challenges beckoned. But they continued their work with the same calm curiosity that had always defined them. "This is just the beginning," Lena said to her team. "The galaxy is watching, and we will continue to explore, learn, and improve. That's what humans do.